And we are in the company of political thinker Gerard Chaliand, whose books include Terrorism and Politics. So looking at that report, people who don't follow Afghanistan on a day-to-day basis are wondering, the Taliban, ISIS, it's all the same, isn't it?
Not at all. No, I think there is a huge difference. You know that, for instance, Russia, for the last 5 years, have been helping the Taliban because their calculus was that the Taliban are nationals and they are not international jihadists. In other words, IS or Al-Qaeda is a lot more extremist. They have their own agenda, which is Khorasan, the whole world, the whole Islamic world, and that makes a big difference. So who committed, for instance, those two explosions? It might be the jihadists, probably. I think that for the Taliban, they don't need this panic. They have won. They don't need to bring tragedy to this height.
And these ISIS-K fighters, as they're known, are they Afghans? Who are they?
Some can be Afghan. Some are absolutely Muslims from any country. And they have always been mixed. There are some Uyghurs. There could be some Kashmiri. There could be some from North Africa. I mean, they mixed. The Taliban are really Afghans.
Gerard Chaliand, what do you make of the timeline? Because these evacuations had started to hit their stride. Well, yesterday, I think it was 13,400 people evacuated. It's been going every day. And then yesterday comes this big, loud warning, don't go to the airport. And today the attack happens. Your thoughts on the fact that the West must have known something?
Certainly. Certainly, intelligence was more or less aware that something was boiling. But what could they do? You have a rumor saying that they're preparing something, but you don't know exactly who, when, etc. So we're trapped. We're trapped, and this sloppy withdrawal is becoming tragic.
Sloppy withdrawal, which could have been done differently. How?
Well, let me remember you that, I'm sorry, I mean, I'm not ideological, but let me remember you that in '89, Soviet troops who could not win the war did a very quiet and orderly withdrawal. They went out. They had somebody called Najibullah who stayed in power for 2 years and a half. No city was taken by the Taliban. No city knew an important, I would say, crisis through terrorism. The regime was not even supposed to be, corrupted. So in other words, there are differences. I mean, it ended as badly as it could, this withdrawal. It has been, and Mr. Biden knows it, the generals knew it, the intelligence knew it, and this was a complete fiasco. I'm not speaking about the fiasco of the last 10 years. I mean, the war was lost since any time between 2008 and 2011. It was
After
lost.
the surge.
Yes, sure. Exactly. After the surge, it was lost. But the way the withdrawal was sort of organized is really pathetic.
And right now, what we are witnessing, and we don't know again how it's going to start up again, what conditions, is one of the biggest airlifts in the history of humanity.
You're right. You're right. It's the biggest airlift ever seen.
So does the U.S. save some grace if they manage to, despite the events that are unfolding live right now,
well, I think
carry
that
it off?
The U.S. unfortunately made the demonstration of the fact that they are not anymore hegemonic. They still are number one, but they are no more hegemonic.
What does that mean? What's the difference between being...
Well, when you're hegemonic, you control. The hegemony is a control of a situation, a world situation. To be the number one is that they still are very powerful. They can really cannot be attacked home, for instance. But this is the demonstration that you cannot trust them.
We can't trust them, and yet, at the French, at least, we depend on them.
Totally. We're nothing without the Americans. We are nothing without Americans. No European state is able to be in security without the US. Nevertheless, you cannot trust them as you used to trust them until '89.